Well, guys, that 2 hours last night was excruciating. I mean, I just, I'm waiting for somebody to get here. Okay, here we go. It was the longest 2 hours of my life. It was incredibly long. I kept looking at my phone, going, oh my God, there's still an hour left. There's still 20 minutes left. Oh, there's still 10 minutes left. I mean, I had to bear it and bear through it, and it was a child pornographic film. It was a film. It wasn't a documentary. It was a film. And it was in documentary style, but it was a film because everybody was on the same page. Everybody was just telling a story. A documentary is an investigative report. It's an analytical viewpoint of a subject matter. This was just family members talking about Michael Jackson. And for Dan Reed to say it's not about Michael Jackson is the biggest horse poo-poo manure in the history of con artists' manipulative words. Okay. So anyway, so it starts off pretty much cool, telling a biography of both James Safechuck and Wade Robson. And then it just, around 35, 40 minutes, it got into the nasty stuff, okay? Wade met Michael in 1990 and Safechuck in 1986. But Safechuck said Michael was so in love with him that why didn't Michael choose you as the kid actor in Moonwalker? That was done in 87, 88 after you guys met, like I first reported. Okay? Supposedly they got married, they had a mock wedding ceremony, and then he had this ring, and, was it a female ring and all this other stuff? I'm surprised that paparazzi footage wasn't in there. Now, I've seen the paparazzi footage of Safechuck and Michael going into a jewelry store. I don't know where it is right now, but they must have not gotten the rights to it because it wasn't in here. Okay, so a lot of fans are like, oh, they used some bad tour stuff and they used some other Michael music and footage. Well, they could have paid for it. Okay, you can license footage and you can pay for it. And then there were like weird shots. There was a shot, how a kid is on like a monkey bars and their legs and arms are like up on the monkey bars and the bar is underneath their knee and it's bent and their butt is exposed. Well, there was a shot like that. It wasn't on a monkey bar, but he was on something. And there was a shot like that. And it was just so gross that they were talking about licking anuses and posing on all fours. I mean, it was disgusting. It was disgusting that anybody would do this. It's a child porn. And these advocacy agencies right now that are saying child support, no, they need to get this film out of the public domain because it is against the law. It's child pornography. And just because they're not showing nude kids does not mean that this is not child pornography when they're talking about how much they liked it and twisting nipples and oral sex and all this other stuff. But you know where they messed up? They messed up because they never mentioned Michael Jackson's vitiligo. And Oprah, who's supposed to be so smart, Oprah was already in when she sat down with David Geffen on the yacht, right? So, Oprah, don't you remember Michael telling you about vitiligo? And that the spots started showing up, the white spots started showing up between Off the Wall and Thriller, okay, which is the late 70s to the early 80s. So Michael was pretty spotted up by the time he supposedly was molesting and going naked, okay, and having sex with Safechuck at all these little places on Neverland. They just devalued Neverland. I mean, TPs up in the train station, just anywhere. And that's probably where they all went and played and a whole bunch of kids. So he just said those are good places. Because believe me, they are well rehearsed. They're well trained. They had to tell their story. And they had to make it sound believable. Okay, and people are like, well, it's predatory behavior and it is the behavior of child sexual abuse. Well, you can learn all that stuff and you can fit any narrative into any narrative if you want to. Okay, So nobody is 90%, 100% anything. There's always exceptions to the rule. And Michael Jackson, in my opinion, is exception to the rule. When they didn't mention Michael's vitiligo, I said, this ain't true. Because Michael has vitiligo. I was in the courtroom in 2005, right? Because a lot of people want to think maybe he really didn't have vitiligo, you know? And Robert Singer, who was a part of Tom Mesereau's defense team, right? And he was up questioning a witness. And he said, yes, and Michael's doctor has already confirmed that Michael Jackson does have vitiligo. And the prosecution didn't object. You know why they didn't object? Because they already photographed Michael's naked body twice. His genitals and everything twice. So they know that Michael Jackson has vitiligo. Plus, Tom Mesereau told me personally that when they first met, that Michael took off his jacket and his shirt and showed Tom his back because Michael can't put the lightening cream on his back. And so the spots were, you know, the way that they are without anything lightening it, trying to blend it in. You see, because Michael would need somebody back there to rub the cream on, right? So they messed up. No mention of any vitiligo spots, none. Okay, and I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to turn my camera around real quick. I want to show you guys. Oh, see. And somebody told me if your phone is hot, somebody's bugging my phone. Okay. So anyway, so I have certain photos. Oh, that's the documentary that I did, Michael Jackson: The Trial and Triumph of the King of Pop. Somebody is selling it online as a DVD. I'm not selling it as a DVD. I own it, but I'll take care of this later. But you can watch it on Vimeo, on my Vimeo.com channel, Michael Jackson: The Trial and Triumph of the King of Pop. That will tell you the facts about what happened in Michael Jackson's 2005 trial. Now, I'm going to show you guys something, okay? These are Michael Jackson's vitiligo spots. See that on his hand? Okay, let me show you more. I have a whole bunch of them that I have all ready for you, okay? Here's another one. See, this is around the time of The Wiz here. See that little spot right there? And they're in other pictures too, okay? Let me show you more vitiligo spots. Oh, look at this one. This one's a good one. Look at that. Look at that leg. Okay? Wow. Okay? This doesn't happen. Vitiligo is a slow progressive disease, and it takes a long time for your skin to depict. That's Michael's leg. Okay? He had a spider bite on there, on his leg. There's more. I saved more for you guys. Michael Jackson's, most people have seen this one, his neck. So he had to put on makeup. And this is around the time that he was hanging with Safechuck, okay? This is probably Thriller days, maybe the Victory Tour, somewhere around there. You guys know, you guys are good. You know, you guys are the greatest investigators. And here's Michael Jackson's chest right here, okay? And here is here's Michael Jackson's arm. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, look at that. Wow. Okay. And then they touch up all these pictures, right? And the reason why you see a lot of pictures with Michael when he's out, you'll see his shirt all the way buttoned, like here. Okay, I'm going to show you guys some more of these. But these photos here, this is James Safechuck's mother. She was always with them. Okay, she was always with them. Okay, I found this on somebody's page online. Okay, she's always with them. And they said in the documentary that that's Liza, but she's in the background there. And said that she was never with them. And remember James at the Pepsi convention? And we didn't know who the woman was? Well, that's his mother. Okay, that's his mother that's with them. Okay, and James somewhere in the back. That's his mother. Okay, and she talked about how much Michael and her talked on the phone, and the phone habits that she describes are exactly the phone habits that I have with Michael. I mean, with Peter, excuse me, with Peter Michael Bobby. Okay, his leg here. Okay, Peter Michael Bobby, and this was after Prince was born. Where you talk on the phone all day long. See the nose right here? See that? The vitiligo? Okay, there's just proof galore of his vitiligo. Okay, look at this right here. Wow. Okay, because he had to put a lot of cream on his hands because his hands were spotted and his neck his face and his hands were the important parts. So they concentrated on getting that to be one color. Okay, here's Michael again, his chest right here with They Don't Care About Us. And then there's a really good photo. I don't know why I don't have that one up. It's one of my favorite. And look at this, Michael with Rihanna. Look, it's still there. Look there on his chest, okay? Michael definitely had vitiligo. He is not Little Kim, and he is not Tommy Sosa, okay, who bleach their skin, and they always have to because they'll get darker if you don't keep the bleach going. Michael doesn't get darker on the parts that are vitiligo, where the pigmentation has disappeared, okay? So when they didn't bring up vitiligo, I was like, they're out, okay? It's not true. It is a fantasy. And Corey Feldman, he said something too. He said that, yeah, it was pretty, customary to what Michael did, the way that they talk. He said, except for the sex stuff is La La Land. He's saying the sex stuff is not true anywhere. Okay. I have a lot more notes that I want to share with you guys about Leaving Neverland and some of the other stuff that is going on. Oh yeah, and then here is James Safechuck. Oh, well, I'll leave that one up. I'll just keep talking about my notes, okay? So without them mentioning the vitiligo, because you would remember that, because you could see them reflecting, but are they just trying to memorize their lines, okay, and acting? Because I'm telling you, actors are good. They can make you believe anything. Make you cry in movies, make you scared, make you feel sorry, make you angry in movies. So we all know acting. So that was an acting job, because if you didn't mention the vitiligo, oops, forgot about that part, huh? Okay. And let's see. Well, we'll see. Part 2 comes on tonight. Part 2 comes on tonight. Okay, I'm going to go over some of my notes. What they didn't mention is that Michael was interested in these kids on a professional level. Michael had a lot of kids that were that would come up at the end of concert, and he'd have a little dance off with them, and they were just part of the kids that did that. And Michael hung around families. Michael would just hang around families. He had to be somewhere, so he would just hang around families. And if he was really a predator, why did the kids have a mother and a father and brothers and sisters and grandparents? Wouldn't he look for a kid that had a single mother, or it had nobody, no brothers and sisters, so there wouldn't be that many witnesses? Michael had the whole families hanging around him. Okay, I got a bombshell for you guys that didn't watch it. Okay, hotel rooms have beds, and Michael and his brothers shared beds all the time when they toured, when they were little kids. So it's not nothing to him. It's not a big deal. Beds are not necessarily a place for sex, as James Safechuck said, because according to James Safechuck, they had sex everywhere. Not only in bed, but everywhere, in the theater, up in the train station, in teepees. I mean, okay, but you don't remember the vitiligo spots, and you don't remember the uncircumcised penis. Okay, you hate to tell Michael's business, but at this point, I'm telling it to free him, to give you guys information, okay? You know what? There were voice messages that they had saved throughout the years. They sound a little weird to me. They were to James. They sound a little weird, but they sounded kind of like Bobby, Peter, Michael stuff, right? Let's see. Yeah, Michael taught him how to French kiss. I mean, it just gets too explicit and just too graphic. It was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. Oh, then they copied some of the information from the 2005 trial, right? Because I was in the courtroom when Macaulay Culkin testified, and I remember him being questioned by the prosecution and asking, did Michael ever touch you inappropriately? Did Michael ever do this or do that? Did Michael, touch you inappropriately when you were sleeping? Oral sex while you were sleeping? And he was like, I think something like that would wake me up, Corey Feldman said. Well, in this one, just like they took stuff out of Victor Gutierrez's sick book, this one came straight from the 2005 trial. James says Michael told him, I gave you oral sex while you were sleeping. And he's like, you did? Come on. It would wake a kid up. Come on. It would wake a kid up. All right. And then James bragged, that he was his first. Well, Teresa Gonzalez said her and Michael had sex in the park, in the car, during the, around before Thriller came out. Okay? Read her book, Remember the Time. There is a park down the street from the Havenhurst Mansion. There is. And James Safechuck's job is 1 mile from the Havenhurst Mansion, just to let you guys know. It's just craziness, okay? So they're taking stuff out of the 2005 trial. Let me tell you what else they took out of the 2005 trial. They took out, I have some notes here. The alcohol, Jesus juice. They took that Michael gave him alcohol. And there was porn, lots of porn. Porn and candy. There was porn and candy. I mean, come on. Oral sex while sleeping. Yeah, okay. So they took some of the stuff from reading and researching, okay? And they tried to relive and say, you guys were right in 2005. Is that a favor to Ron Zonin? Because he didn't prosecute them for perjury? Tom Sneddon is dead, but Ron Zonin, before he retired in 2013, was asked if he was going to charge them with perjury for their testimony in 2005 trial. Ron's like, nah. You know why? Because Ron Zonin wanted Michael to be guilty. So he doesn't care if people lie and people make a mockery of the justice system or that they lie under oath. Don't matter, because it suits me and my agenda. Forget the law, okay? And Ron Zonin's now retired. I filed a police report with them for perjury, obstruction of justice, and aiding and abetting a child molester, okay? Because if they were lying in 2005, which I don't believe they were, they didn't give a damn about Michael molesting other kids. Didn't care. But they were called themselves so jealous of the new kids, the replacement kids, okay? Let's see. And then they were saying that Wade was a little confusing, because Wade said that they had just met Michael, and then 4 hours earlier, and then they were like family, and their mother left him there for 5 days, and it was like the second day, and they all went to the Grand Canyon, and she left him there. And Michael said, I always get what I want. Michael don't even talk like that. He'll take what he wants, but he's not going to sass you like that, because Catherine and Joe probably pop him up his head, pop him upside his mouth if he ever sass like that. And Michael doesn't sass people like that, okay? Unless he is backed up in a corner, and that's all he can do is sass. But he's not, not when he's negotiating, But anyway, he said, I always get what I want, right? So the boys stayed there, okay? And he said it was after 4 hours, they never knew. But he had met Michael at a hotel before. He had met Michael at the after he won the dance contest. So they had met Michael a few times before that. So that was a little bit weird editing, Mr. Porno producer, porno director, Dan Reed. And then they said there was no way when we left Wade there was no way for us to get in touch with him. There were cell phones. There was regular phones. Gee whiz. Okay, another thing. They said Michael's hair felt like a brittle pad. I think that was James who said that. No, not James. Excuse me. That was Wade, because Wade dates black women. Okay? Wade dated... we know, I think it's Yashi, okay? And I know it's Brandy. Brandy has very silky hair, or what black people call good hair, mixed hair, okay? Brillo pad is more negroid hair, more black people tightly curled hair. And they said that's what Michael's hair felt like. This is after the Pepsi burn, okay? This is when Michael wore wigs, hair pieces. He had jerry curl. So you would have had more of a greasy substance on your hand, and you would have remembered that. Not that it felt like a Brillo pad. You know why, Wade? You had a curl. You had a perm. His hair would have felt like your perm, because most of the weave hair is not really black negroid hair. When it's a jerry curl or if it's waving, it's really non-black hair that's curled and waved, so it feels silky, not like this doesn't feel like a Brillo pad, so he got it all twisted up. So so the vitiligo, the wrong description of the hair. So he's Okay. Let's see. And then after Wade and Safechuck are getting sexed by Michael, which they said was a safe zone, you know, he liked it, so they liked him and they loved him and they loved each other and all this other stuff. That, you know what? Hey, sex is good, baby. Let's do it. You know, where any other kid, you know, would be like, oh my goodness, this feels weird. It just feels unnatural. But they liked it. Okay, until Wade said he didn't like the oral part, the anal part. He said he didn't like that at all, but he kept going back. He kept going back. He wanted Michael more, you know. Yeah, why did they keep going back? Okay, the mother, they said they didn't notice anything. And one time, tells a story about one time the theater was locked. And they were playing on the bed in the theater. There was a bed in the theater? Okay, well, maybe one of the hospital beds. But they were fully clothed, the mother said, but the door was locked, so she thought that was a little weird. So that's her little, you know, aha moment that she didn't pay attention to. Okay, and how the kids wanted to sleep in Michael's 2-story bedroom. Let's see. Oh yeah, and the rings and the jewelry that Michael gave to James. Yeah, sure. Okay, copyright infringement. No, they probably paid for it because they know better. It was the longest movie of my life. It really was. A hat. A hat. There was a Smooth Criminal hat that Michael apparently gave to young 7-year-old Wade, right? Smooth Criminal. Now, Michael wears a hairpiece because of his burned scalp, right? So we know that the size of the hat is a little bigger than Michael's regular head because wigs take up some space, right? Why did that same hat fit a 7-year-old? He took it with him on a TV interview. And why is Michael molesting a high-profile kid that can tell at any moment? Right? He said, Michael gave me this Smooth Criminal hat, right? And he says, even makeup's on it. That was probably your makeup because your mother was probably making you look a little darker because she curled your hair so that you would look a little bit more black, more African-American, so you could look like Michael a little more, right? He put on that hat that Michael gave him. It fit snug. Snug on a 7-year-old head. I mean, these are the things that you catch when you are just like, come on, right? I have more. They were anticipating sex and love with Michael Jackson, right? Let's see. Let's compare R. Kelly's victims to Wade and James. Let's compare them, okay? R. Kelly's victims and the people there were family members of the victims that weren't abused but learned of the abuse, these women cried. Women that were just knew about it cried because it was so painful. Not a tear from Wade or James. Not a tear. Not even watery red looking eyes. Okay? R. Kelly's victims, oh my God, there was so much crying in Surviving R. Kelly. So many tears. You could actually see the water well up in their eyes, and they would just blink and just crocodile tears would just fall with every other emotion. Every other emotion. And you know fake tears when we see them in movies, they're too thick. These were real tears in R. Kelly. Real pain, real suffering, really, really hurt women. And these are boys, young kids, reliving who they thought was their hero and going and suing for sexual abuse and sexual trauma, and not a tear from them. Okay, not a tear. They won a couple little scenes where they looked a little bit like they could be sad, but not a tear. Nothing. Okay, and I have seen men who have been sexually abused as boys cry on all kinds of interviews. Okay, so the boys don't cry stuff. Stop. Michael, he said, Wade was leaving and Michael was in a corner crying. Okay. And you know where he got that from? He said that Michael called him little boy. Oh my goodness. I will pull that up next time because Peter posted this, okay? There is a picture, a drawing of a little kid that Michael made, and he's in the corner and he looks scared, and it's called Little One. Okay? If my memory's right, there's a little kid, or there's a drawing of a little kid that's called Little One. And I'll find that, and when I do my review of part 2, I'll make sure I have that up. Okay, I think that I have figured out. And why did James Safechuck keep the jewelry? Why did he keep it? His mother saying, "Oh, I'm glad he's dead, 2009," right? But you gonna keep that jewelry, boy, and it's not even valuable jewelry. It is mementos. It's memorabilia. It's not like an expensive piece of jewelry with a lot of diamonds, and it's like cheap little pieces of jewelry. It's not worth a whole lot of money, but he kept them as mementos for his abuser all these years. Sure you did. Okay. They almost mentioned that Michael was interested in them in a professional level. No mention of Brandy, Michael's niece that dated Wade from age 12. Well, they had a crush from starting 10, but from age 12 to age 19, they only showed her with Wade and her and Michael in a LA Gear commercial. I think it was Black and White, for Black and White. Okay, for that video. Okay, and Michael's holding Brandy, not Wade. Okay, let's see. I want to make sure I don't forget some more stuff. Okay, now I'm going to get to the whole thing about why this is, and it's pretty clear at the end of this part 1. It's pretty clear. Just like they say, well, the behavior of survivor victims is pretty much, we all can learn behavior and study anything. We live in the age of information where we can learn anything. Okay? So them fitting the narrative, they just learned stuff and they studied. That's why he wrote the book, so he could be real good on his lies. Okay? Why do all the African American icons have to go down like this? Is it so no more Martin Luther King statues? And we want those Michael Jackson statues down all over the world. Is it really just racism? Get over racism, doggone it. Damn. Sheesh. I have dark skin because my ancestors come from Africa. And in Africa, the average degrees is 80 degrees. We got dark skin and curly hair to protect us from the burning sun. White people, because all races come from Africa. The lighter skinned Africans migrated up north because they could not take the skin. And when you're cold, your hair grows longer, and your body needs to pick up as much vitamin D as possible. Okay? It's all climate. That's why I wrote my first book, Climate, the Perspective Unvisited. The reason why Asians have the epicantic fold on their eyes is so their eyelashes can go straight down. Okay, look at an Asian, especially a man who's not wearing false eyelashes, and you look at them from the side, their eyelashes go down. And it's because from their climate, it's rainy and windy. It's called monsoons, and it protects their eyes. This whole racism thing is stupid. It's stupid. It's just based on climatic habitats, and brown people have a mixture of both habitats. Okay? And things change through natural selection. Okay? So if you're interested in the development of race in the Australopithecus, which is the first humanoid back in about 6 million years ago. Okay, I go back that far, and I just tell the story of race. Through the climates and how the races traveled and migrated, okay, before plate tectonics started separating the continents. I know a lot of information. I'm a smart chick, okay? I'm a research chick, okay? I can be dingy sometimes. That's because I got so much in my head, right? Important stuff. So we got to get over this racism stuff, okay? And let people just be people, and let people be successful. If they work for it and they earn it, just let it happen and stop. It's just stupid, okay? Let's see. Okay, I think I'm gonna get down to okay, I'm gonna get down to the nitty-gritty. This is the nitty-gritty of it, okay? You know, Robson, okay? Their father committed suicide. They're going to pick up there, but that's where it ended, okay? The only tears in this film came from Chantel and the older brother, Robson, okay? Those are the only tears, and it wasn't due to Michael Jackson. Those tears were because of their father, losing their father. Okay, so when something hurts you, and he cried, that man cried, the older brother, he cried in the documentary talking about the father. So what happened was, Michael befriended them, liked the kid, all this other stuff. The kid was talented. Michael loves to mentor kids that are talented and hoping that he can do a better job, just like his father did with him. And Michael's looking for the next great whatever. So Michael always liked kids and wanted to spend time training them. Okay, so with that, they decided, Joey, Michael called her Joey, and Wade, they came to California. And I believe Chantel came too. And the father was so distraught and felt so abandoned and was so hurt that his family left him. Okay. Joy picked up everything, came to California. He killed himself. But when she got out here, because they needed somebody to sponsor them so they can get a visa, work visa. So Michael's company decided that they were going to do that, right? Joy's request. Joy was really aggressive, okay? Her request. But when they got out here, they thought that they was going to live with Michael scot-free and get a free car and get all kinds of free stuff. Well, when they got here, they were taken to Oakwood Apartments. And I know Oakwood Apartments is like a long stay apartments. Okay, I remember Oakwood. And then they were appalled when the Oakwood people asked them to pay for their own room. They thought Michael was going to pay for the room. Okay, they thought Michael was going to send a car and do all this other stuff for them too. Okay, so when Wade went to go work on the black and white video, they expected a car to come pick him up and all this great service since Michael had taken them to Neverland and all this stuff. They thought that Michael owed them their life and Michael's money was their money and Michael was going to take care of everything. No, you were a guest at his house. He didn't owe you that. Okay, so then they figured out they were on their own. So you know they're hurt. They're hurt because they thought they was all that and Michael was going to pay for everything. They really believed that. And when they felt like they were on their own, they felt like they got played. And when they got to the black and white set, this is the one, they figured out that Wade was replaced by Macaulay Culkin. Because now Michael's best friend is Macaulay. It's not James anymore. I mean, it's not Wade anymore. Because this whole thing that I'm telling you guys is Wade. If I happen to say James, I'm sorry. Wade. Because to me, they're one of the same. You know, they're both lying, conniving extortionists to me. Okay, so my mind has a hard time separating them. Okay, because in my mind, they're the same. Okay, and then they find out that their dad killed himself. So Wade must think Michael owes him. Right? Michael owes him his life. Michael owes him to use his name to get gigs and all this other stuff. And Wade climbed up the ladder, top of the choreography game, all that stuff. Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, he messed that up. Okay? Kept hanging around the family by dating Michael's nieces and all this other stuff. Hanger on. Okay? So when Wade, doing tributes and all this stuff. So when Wade thought he was entitled to get the Michael Jackson 1 director head choreography gig, and he did not. all that stuff must have came, and my daddy died, and he killed, my mother came out here for you, and blah, 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 and I can't get this gig. Oh, no. Well, you know what, estate? Take this. Bam. And that's what I believe happened, and that's why I believe the mother is in on this, too. It's because they're mad. Because they can't use Michael because they think he's dead. They can't use him anymore. So they want to use Michael to continue to get ahead. Michael has been their meal ticket since their father died. Okay, how they made money. Wade was the one making money. Okay, so when that came up, all this other stuff. And so he decided the best way that he can pay the estate back is to make this whole thing up that Michael molested him. And we know it's not true because Michael's hair didn't feel like Brillo pad because he had a jerry curl, which is probably European hair curled up, just like his European hair, Australian hair. Well, no, European, because Australians migrated to Australia from Europe. The real Australians are the Aborigines, the dark-skinned people. Okay? So his European hair had a jerry curl. It would have felt the same. Would have felt the same as Wade's hair. And then no mention of the vitiligo. They're lying. Okay, they're lying. All right. And then as far as James is concerned, I think he just came for the ride. I think the situation presented itself. Why not? You know, he doesn't talk much. He has a few little stories. I wonder if the estate can get their hands on the footage that didn't make it into the documentary. How many times they practiced their lines. Okay, how they were coached. You know, was the law firm there too when they were recording it? Of course they were. Because Dan Reed said they went through the law firm to get the movie deal. So this is well-trained, well-coached. Taj Jackson, moving on, he was on TMZ defending his brother, and Howard Wiseman was on the Today Show with Gail being interviewed. Okay? So this is the beginning of more stuff to come. And I think I've been talking long enough. Let me see if I have more. A note, the BBC, Variety magazine, has come out and said the BBC did not ban MJ's music. Okay, Channel 2, that was a rumor. And then James's company that he works for, do you know that they're associated with HBO and Time Warner? Freaking unbelievable, right? So there's all kinds of stuff that's going on, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. We just got to be patient, and I got to watch, I got to watch 2 more hours of this. But I heard that this part is not as graphic, thank God, but it is them explaining why they lied. Okay, so here comes the psychobabble. The psychobabble, you know, I don't know. It just seems to me when these anti-medication drugs went on the market, and all these psychiatrists and going to therapists, I think suicides done went up. Crazy people done went up. Okay? Because I don't know how many people go to a therapist, and I'm sorry I have to say this, go to a therapist and then they're, for a year or whatever, and then everything's all better. Usually people that go to therapists, they stay crazy. You know why? Because it's not in the best interest of the therapist to heal you, because now you're not a paying client anymore. That's just my 2 cents. So just be careful. Okay, everybody. I know we're in the age of everybody go see somebody, go to the therapist, go wherever. Try to work it out. Try to, do something. Talk to your best friend. Talk to yourself in a mirror. Hit a pillow. Write it down, write a book about it. That's very therapeutic. Writing a book about your abuse, that's very therapeutic. Okay? Getting it out of your system. Okay, try to do self-healing. If you have issues, you're feeling lonely, you're feeling sad, go buy your favorite food to eat. Okay, come home and cook it and feel happy that you're going to eat your favorite food. My favorite food is crabs. Okay? I love crabs. I love them. The big colossal ones, that's my favorite food. Okay? So try self-therapy. Okay, try self-therapy. And I'm not a therapist, it's just my advice as someone who just cares about human beings. Okay? Get a puppy. Get somebody else to love, but sometimes you fall so in love with animals, you forget you're supposed to be kind and nice to human beings sometimes. Okay? So I don't know, we all get hurt, all of us, it's part of life. Being hurt is a part of life. And why am I going on with this? Only because I feel like I need therapy. After being abused by watching a child porno film, so I just want to just tell people, face it, whatever it is, face it head on, and look at it, even if you face it to yourself in a mirror, and be careful out there. All right, guys, I'm not sure I'm going to go on tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to go on tonight after the special. After part 2. Yeah, and then the phone. Oh, I want to tell this last one. It's going to make the haters so mad. But who cares, right? This is the last little thing. They talked about Michael always being on the phone, okay? And he would talk to the kids and the mother. Hours. 6 to 8 hours. And I know I brought this up before. But Peter did that exact thing to me. We would call me every day. We talk on the phone for hours. I mean, one time we were on the phone 8-9 hours. Watch movies on the phone. Like we would go, whose audio is gonna be on? And it'd be his or mine. And then we would just press play at the same time and we watch a movie together. And I remember when Debbie Rowe testified that. I was like, oh my God, that's what Peter Michael Bobby does. Okay, and plus, watch Alive 3. If you guys are curious about who I give evidence as to who is Peter Michael Bobby. And I'm going to tell you guys one little last story. Chamilla. Do you guys know Michael had an alias named Chamilla? And if you unscramble it, it spells Michael. It's Chemila. Okay, or Chimela. But that's Michael, right? Before the death announcement, Chamilla called me a few times. And when Chamilla called me a few times, we would just talk. And I thought it was a chick. I thought, because Chamilla, and Michael has a soft voice, right? I thought it was a girl. And Chamilla, I thought it was a girl. So we're talking on the phone. And we started talking about Mama's Pearl, the song Mama's Pearl. And Chamilla said, that song is about a guy going after a girl for sex. It's about a guy and a girl wanting sex, right? I was like, what are you talking about? No, it's about love. It's about love, right? And not knowing that, the song was originally called Guess Who's Making Whoopee with Your Girlfriend, okay? So he knew that before I even knew that there was another version, an original version of Mama's Pearl, right? And then Peter called me January 15th for the first time, 2012. Then I learned that that day is the first day that the Mama's Pearl cartoon aired in 1972, January 15th. Then a year later, January 15th, 2013, the cartoon A Rare Pearl was released with the Jackson 5 cartoon series. And there was an album released of unreleased Jackson 5 songs. So we got 3 albums of unreleased Michael Jackson songs. Michael escaped. There's your clue right there. Michael escaped all this BS. He faked his death. And A Rare Pearl. And there's a whole lot more. So make sure you get your copy of the Alive trilogy of Michael Jackson documentaries, especially Alive 3, if you want to see my evidence on how I prove, or my evidence that Peter Michael Bobby, it's really Michael Jackson. He's safe. Don't worry. Nobody can find him. Don't worry. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Love ya. Oh, and I talked to him last night. He's doing all right. Okay? He was playing DJ. He played me so many songs. I'm not going to tell you guys what they are, but they were sweet, nice songs. Okay? So anyway, guys, and I think there's a purpose for me. I know I keep going. I think there's a purpose for me. Being the reporter or the chosen reporter to kind of be his mouthpiece. And the reason why is because a licensed media company has to inform the public of the hoax, and I think that that's my purpose. I'm always informing you guys. So if it ever comes down that, yeah, he faked his death or he's cornered or whatever, I got his back. That he's been trying to tell everybody, and I've been trying to tell everybody, and nobody wants to listen to me, okay? Well, some people do, okay? So if you want to know more about that, and don't worry, he's safe. And we can't unspill the death hoax information. We can't unspill it. We can't. It's just too vast. It's too much out there. All right, I'm leaving for sure this time. Okay, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.